Hello and welcome to this game review. So in this one we had numerous opportunities of taking material. You did not really blunder any of your own material, which is a good thing, but we should take the opponent's pawns and pieces when given the chance. So let's take a look. So e4 a5, and this is called the Philidor defense. It's quite passive by black. He is closing his own bishop and allowing white to take the center. So of course white is doing quite well. Knight f6. This allows white to take away castling rights and exchange the queens. At this point the position is symmetrical, but it is white to move, and black has moved the king to d8, which is not desirable. And at this point white can simply take a pawn in one move. Why did you not do this? It's hard to understand. Of course you can say that black can also take the pawn, but we must not finish our calculations right here. Firstly, the position is symmetrical, so when white starts capturing, he is always one move ahead. So this means he can take on f7, for example. This would be a winning fork. We're taking the rook on h8. The game is over. Right? Which means black cannot take here, he must defend. And now we can take care of this pawn. And white is just a pawn up for no compensation. He can finish development, castle, and we're doing very well. White is winning. So this must have been taken. It's hard to understand why we are defending instead of attacking. Generally in chess, we should attack and not defend as much as possible. Instead bishop d3, but this move is extremely passive. Now the bishop is badly placed. It's just a big pawn. Knight c6 castles, and black is allowed to finish development. Here you move the bishop again, which is generally the correct idea because the bishop was badly placed. Now bishop d7 and rook d1. And here we had again the same kind of tactic. Now this pawn on e5 is defended, but in two moves we can take it. After bishop takes e6, we are getting rid of the defender of e5, black can recapture, and we can take. And again, importantly, if black takes here, we are giving this fork and winning the game. So instead bishop rook d1, developing a rook, also a good idea. Bishop d6, now knight c3, finishing development. Bishop takes c6, and here again checks, captures, and attacks. There's one check, not very good, but let's notice this bishop is pinned. So why are we not taking a free pawn, right? The bishop cannot capture because the king is over here. And again we are taking a very nice central healthy pawn, which will give us a winning advantage. And now we're also threatening here. After this we can just take the bishop, also doubling his pawns. We can now finish development, bishop e3, f3. Black is just lost. We are up a pawn for nothing. So instead bishop e3. This allows black to connect the rooks finally. Notice here you still have 14 minutes. This means you do not think on any move up until this point, right? And to play good chess we must think. And a lot of these opportunities could have been seen. So maybe I would suggest playing with longer time controls, as it seems you don't have enough time to think about the checks, captures, and attacks. So okay, knight d5, and now the structure is changed. So now the pawn structure defines what the plans are, and you found the correct plan, which is to play on the queen side, as we have 4 pawns over here against 3, and black should be playing on the king side. So c4 is absolutely correct. We must play c5 and try to push through further. Black plays c5, stopping this plan, but now we have a good asset, which is the protected passed pawn on d5, which will be very dangerous in the long term. So knight h4, this is a very nice idea, trying to put the knight on f5. This is allowed. And after b5, now white has a winning tactic. Black did not realize the threat. And again, this tactic should be found. It's not very difficult. It involves 2 captures. So what are the captures in this position? Where there's some stuff over here, but nothing seems to work. Otherwise, the biggest capture is the bishop. Currently it's defended, but what if this happens anyway? So the knight takes, the rook takes. Now, what are the captures? Well, we can capture the pawn, we can capture this pawn, but we can capture a pawn while also attacking the rook. Turns out the rook is pinned. So black is going to lose material here, and also we even won a pawn. So the game is again over. So rook c1, rook b8, and now you found this tactic, knight takes d6, and bishop takes c5. And now the game should end quite swiftly. So king e7, you played b4, knight a4, now we take the bishop and play c5, so this is all correct. So now not only do we have a completely winning material advantage, which is a rook and a pawn for a knight, we also have very good rooks behind the passed pawns. The opponent has no counterplay, and we have two connected passed pawns, which should be enough to win the game, even if we didn't have a rook for a knight. So knight c4, and now we just have to finish the game properly without blundering anything. Okay, d6, rook a1, e1, f6, f4. So this is the correct approach. The rooks love open lines, so this is the best way to open the files. Trying to get to e7, even if we lose a pawn, this doesn't really matter, as we're activating the rook, which is a lot more important. So knight b2, black has the threat of knight d3, which it seems you did not realize, but maybe it does not really matter. You took on e5. After knight d3, black gets some material back, but this doesn't really matter, as here we still keep the two connected passed pawns. Even in a rook endgame, this will be completely winning, and two connected passed pawns are enough to win. So you took here, and we took here, and the rook f1, and finally you took the open file on the e-file, and the black decided to resign. You could try to play on, but eventually white should win this, mainly by finally activating the king, as the king is an important piece. It can help take these pawns, maybe could make more protected passed pawns, or you can just try to use the rook and advance the pawns this way, with an eventual rook c8. Either way, white should be winning this, but this was quite a quick game. At the end of this game you have 12 minutes, which basically means this was a blitz game for you, as you did not really think too much about any of these moves. So generally I would suggest playing with longer time controls, and it doesn't really matter which time control you play, but you must use your time, right? As otherwise we're playing blitz, and blitz is not very good. So hopefully this was useful, and good luck next time. See you.